Hello friends, it is that time again with that Erickson, and here we are today. It is finally here. We are live with 5.8 Crowfall update. It has pushed to the live servers, so anybody that has access to Crowfall or has pledged, you should have access. And I wanted to make this video to cover the differences and kind of like a new player guide for those who are new to Crowfall. I made a video for a 5.6. But a lot of things have changed since then, so I wanted to kind of update that. And I also put out a video a couple weeks ago about the big changes that come to 5.8, so you should check that out. So right now, without further ado, let us jump into the campaign home screen. As you can see here, we have the choice to enter campaign or kingdom. I'm going to leave kingdom out for this discussion because we have a couple kingdom videos. I need to put out a new updated one, but basically I'm pretty sure everyone's going to want to jump into the campaign world and start getting busy. So let's go ahead and check it out. Okay, so here we are on the brand new homepage where we can see a few things. We can see our characters. I only have one created right now. I was able to just pop on a little bit last night. And the first thing that we're going to want to do as new player is get your skills going. So you're going to come to skills, and you're definitely going to want to choose your tracks. So for example, I have chosen two tracks here. I have the combat track and I have the exploration track. So what you can do is you can choose 2 out of the 3 tracks to start gaining passive points. And once you start them, you will be able to spend them. So for example, here I'm going to go to spend points, and I've covered this in other videos, but basically you can use your points. You can see what each node does. All the nodes will require 4 dots or 4 pips to unlock the next in line. So for example, if I check these here off critical hit chance and I move here to attack power, I can pop in 4 points here, and that will unlock the next points in this tier. The only time where you're going to need 5 is on this final tier. So you'll notice there's 5 dashed lines. You'll need to put 5 points in these to unlock the ability in all 3 of these to unlock the ability to put in basic combat mastery. And that's pretty much it, guys. I'm not going to go super in-depth. I just want to stress the importance of getting your training started as soon as you log in. So pop into your campaign world, go to skills, and start training right away. Alright guys, so here we are. We are now on the character or vessel creation screen. We're going to be making a vessel. Vessel is the body that your crow spirit inhabits. So the spirit of your crow and all its passive training gets also always applied to whatever vessel you create. But vessels themselves will have levels, and they will have a passive skill tree that has changed since the old days of Crowfall if you're new. So let's just get started. I'm going to create a guy, create a male knight. We actually have some customization. We can add beards, hairstyles, we can put in skin tones, we can put in hair colors, and that's that. So let's just throw in a name. And that's all for character creation. So take some time with this, make yourself the character you want. You can select male or female for most of the classes in right now. And there you go. Let's hop into the game now. Alright guys, so after I entered the world, I've been experiencing this bug, and I would caution you to be careful. I'm seeing people when they spawn in, they're like spawning in on top of the cave. As you can see, there's a guy under me that's also experiencing it. You are going to want to hit your hotkey for recall. I've rebound my hotkeys, but it's the one that's under my shift 4. It's just a recall. We'll get that so that we can hop down to the bottom. It's going to take you directly into the beachhead, this cave area, instead of killing me when I drop down. So boom, there I am. All right, so now the first thing we're going to do is get moving. We're going to see that we have 2 trays. We have a survival tray and a combat tray, in this case as the knight. But your trays are dependent on the class. So some might have a range tray, some are going to have a stealth tray, and switching between the trays can be keybound if you want to change that in the options. But yeah, you're going to want to get started and start moving out of your little crypt area. It's not really a crypt anymore. It's the shrine of your beachhead. And we're going to want to get out into the world. And out here, you're going to see a camp right away. The camp is a good spot to pick up a few basic harvesting axes. You're going to pick up a few pieces of meat, which is also good because you can grab some food for yourself. And you can start grabbing all these things. It's worthwhile to grab. And if you wanted to cook that meat, you can do that without any training. I have a training in basic survival. So if I go to cooking, for example, under cooking, campfire cooking recipes, I can make roasted meat, but you will not be able to make that right away. You're going to have basic survival, and you'll have meat tartare, and you can go ahead and throw some pieces of meat there and assemble, and you're going to make meat, which gives you a food restore of 4. And that's good because food is important in this game. You will get hungry, you will have have a hunger meter, or the chicken ticker meter as I'll call it. And here what you're gonna want to do is make sure your food level is always high, because if you reach a certain level, you're going to notice that you'll have a debuff on the right hand corner, top right hand corner, that might say you're hungry and you're not regenning or regenning less. I see a lot of questions as to, oh, how do I regenerate mana? And the best way to answer that is to make sure you are fed and you are full. Okay, so that's what you can do in this first little area. And let's move on to some of the stuff you should do next. Okay, so moving out of the camp area, we're going to be able to see right away the 3 basic resources that we have, the basic types of resources. So for here, we have cobblestone, which can be harvested with a hammer. You have knotwood, which is pretty much all trees. It doesn't have to be this specific white one. And slag, which is this kind of tiger striped rock, which is your ore. So ore, wood, stone. And that's important for certain recipes. So what I'm going to do is throw on my axe. You'll notice it goes right into my harvest tray in slot 1. It's already equipped. And I'm going to start beating on this tree. You'll see the red health bar and the tree go down. And then I can pick up the wood. And I'm going to need to do that a good amount of time because all the other harvesting materials and harvesting items, the axe and the hammer and the knife, which is all you're going to want to make all of those, requires wood. And what you just see here is a hot spot or a weak spot. If you put your cursor over the weak spot and hit it, you're going to do yourself some extra damage. Another thing, another way to get extra damage is you'll notice in the bottom right hand corner, I have a combo point or pip meter, which is for your energetic harvesting, which is a 5-point ability. And what we can do is hit K or whatever you have bound for your spellbook and come take a look at it. So I opened my spellbook here and you're going to see I have the energetic harvesting, which would give you a description of what each of those pips do. So, you know, use your judgment, experiment with what you like on how to use this. You can increase your perceptive harvest, which gives you a weak spot increase. You can get some more stamina and things like that. But yeah, use that. Don't forget it. I tend to like the 5th point because it does more damage. I also like the 1st point because it increases your chance by 5%. And also, sometimes I'll use the increased stamina one, but I feel like it's not super important. And I like to use 4 in combination with 1 or 4 in combination with 3 because that will increase those specific combo points that you choose. So that's energetic harvesting. Okay, so let's just go over how this is going to play out. You're going to chop down enough wood so that you can make every one of your basic tools. You bring up in your crafting, personal crafting, which doesn't require a station. You'll hit J and go ahead and start making the other tools. So I'm going to want to make a hammer. And you just right click your wood. Sometimes you'll have to drag it in if it's bugging out. Assemble, make the item, and now you'll have another harvesting tool for that particular type. You can right click it, equip it to your tray, and switch between them with the numbers. And that's how you make your tools, guys. So first things first, get all of your tools. Get a knife, get a hammer, get a pick, and you'll have a bunch of axes. But if you need more, go ahead and make it. Also, you're going to want to save and hold on to any apples that come out of the tree because you can eat that to also increase your food meter, because it's a pretty abundant way to get your food meter up. All right, let's talk about next. Okay, so next step, what I'm going to want to do is make my basic weapon. And your basic weapon is going to require, under your crafting basic weapons, for example, I have to make a basic longsword as a knight, and I'm going to need 6 stone and 6 wood. You're going to want to harvest that up. Remember what how I showed you the differences between cobblestone is a stone, your trees are wood, and the tiger rocks are slag, which is ore. So harvest up your basic items and go ahead and create your first weapon. All right, so for the sake of time, I'm going to leave it to you guys to create your basic weapon. It's important because your basic weapon is required to upgrade to make it into your intermediate weapon. So you're definitely going to want to go into your basic crafting, see what you need to get the weapons for your class. You know, you can click each of them to make sure if you don't know what your class needs, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Or you can just come over here. That's what I'm going to do just to get the video moving along, is you can talk to this first vendor. You can buy your basic swords that you require. So I'm going to buy a longsword, and because you start with 40 gold, and I'm going to buy a shield. All right, and those are the 2 items that the knight will require. And then I'll just close those windows. I will equip, and now I can start beating up on creatures. And in the beachhead towards the beginning, you're going to see these spiders, and I'm going to suggest that you beat on these spiders until you have a good amount of experience, because you can get a few levels off of them. So just come over here. At first, you're not going to have any skills. You're just going to have to whack on them with your auto attack. They die pretty fast. You're going to want to loot them, The other thing you're going to want to do is make sure you have a knife, and you can switch back to your harvesting tray and skin them and get that resources as well. And that's kind of what I'm going to do to level up at first. Let's hit him with the right weapon there. You're going to probably kill these for a little bit, get to level 3. That's my suggestion. And collect all the resources from them, as well as skin them, loot them, and take everything off of them, take the gold. And once I get a level here, I'll show you what we're going to do next. Alright, so I have leveled up from that spider. I am now level 2. You'll notice that I got a few points for my stats, as well as talent points. Now, the talent point system is new. I covered it in my last video. Basically, they took out the class trees in favor of putting the talents directly in each vessel. So I have some points, and you can see what each point does. So for example, strength, this little bracket, it does attack power, final damage. Dex adds crit and armor. So determining what your path is going to be and what you're going to want to do, that's all up to personal preference. But for example, I'm going to put in some strength because I want to be hitting harder, and I'm going to throw 1 point into Dex for the armor bonus. The bonus I get from health doesn't seem so great right now, but you know, use your own judgment, experiment. That's what the test is for. And then you're going to want to hit N or click the talent tree to open up your talents. And now I have 2 points to spend. You're going to get 2 every level, and I think you get 3 at certain intervals. I think 5 or 10. And what you're going to do is you're going to have to start with the first one. So for example, I have to take shield swipe. You can left click the little highlighted option here to take a look at what the skill does. Popped up for a second. There we go. Oh, maybe I just have to hold over it. Okay, so for example, shield swipe here will have an attack. It tells you all the items about it. It's an instant, it's a cone, how long its cooldown is, how many people it can hit, the range, all this information, as well as the follow-up. And I'm going to put a rank in that because I want it. And then here I got 2 options. I can either go with more attack power, with more weapon damage, which is cool, or I can get my physical armor up. Well, let's do more damage. And that's it. Now I got my points going. So you're going to do that. I'm going to suggest that you hunt around here until you're about level 3. And then what I'm going to show is an explanation of the sacrifice. So let's take a look at that next. Alright guys, so I beat up some spiders and I got myself to rank 3 or level 3. What I would suggest is you can still stay here until rank 4, level 4, because the mobs, the way they work, they'll have a rank number next to the name. So the spiders are R1. You can do the level times 3 and the level. So for example, I can use a rank 1 to level up to level 4 with just fighting it, but after that I will stop getting experience and I'm going to have to find level 2s, which can take me up to 6 plus 1, 7, and going down that line of just multiplying by the level times 3, and that's how you get experience. So the other way that you can get experience, and it's a good idea to do, and it's much easier, a lot of people will power level through it. They can sacrifice items to the sacrificial altar, and if you continue following your path towards your temple, you're going to come across one of these fires, and there's also one in the temple as well. As you can see, I'm approaching it here. Once I get near it, you'll be able to hit F or your action key, whatever you set, and you can sacrifice to the altar. So here I go, I'm going to sacrifice. And I have some stuff here that I gathered while killing spiders, and these things will have values. So for example, you can see sacrificial value is 40 experience, and I have a lot of these axes that I picked up, so I can technically sack those too. And gold is also usable on a 1-to-1 ratio, which I would avoid, but it's something that you can do. And sometimes in test environments they give you free gold, so you can level yourself to 30 quick. But just for argument's sake, I'm gonna go ahead and deposit all of this stuff, and I'm gonna overcap myself just for the heck of it. But you know, you want to be careful not to waste any, because you don't get change, it doesn't carry over to the next level. So here, I just leveled from 3 to 4 by just throwing in junk I looted from the spider. And boom, I'm level 4. And now I have more points and more talents to keep putting in. So yeah, I would stay into the beachhead until you're level 5. Or level 4 is probably fine, because what you're going to want to do is harvest a bunch of hide from pack pigs. And I'm going to show you where you can do that in a second here. So as I was saying, you're going to want to create a saddle pack pig, and I'm going to explain what that is here in a second. It's a part of the survivalist tray, basic survivalist cooking, under basic survivalist rather. Saddle pack pig requires 90 hide and 25 dust. You'll get the hides by skinning animals and getting the dust from just killing anything. And I will show you a good location to do that. First things first, you're going to want to go to your temple, and your temple is up the hill. Well, you're going to have to open your map to see where it is because it depends on your faction, the direction. But you can see this beam of light in the air, and that's one way to find it. And once I step through this beam, I'm going to be in the temple, and I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. Alright, so here I am. I'm in the temple for chaos. Don't pay attention to the textures. You're going to notice that when you walk over them, sometimes it'll say temp, or it doesn't show the colors. This is a work in progress, guys. The temple is already looking amazing. I can't wait till they start coloring in everything, and it's going to be super sweet. As you can see here, it says like temp. This is test. It's pre-alpha, so we're not even in alpha, boys. So let's just give it some patience. There's another sacrifice pit here if you need it. And outside of the temples, you'll see there are some wooded areas. And in these wooded areas, you're going to find rank 1 resources that are not the non-basic resources. So you're going to find things like copper, iron, I believe, and some other resources. Those will glow, and those are not your basic resources. Those are non-basic resources, and you'll see that mentioned often when you're looking outside or looking at recipes. It will require a non-basic ore. What that means is pretty much any ore that's not slag, or any wood that's not wood, if that makes sense. Alright, so I am over here on my other character where I already made my pig. What you're going to want to do is when you first create it, it's like an item that you have to click. And then after you click it, it's going to be a part of your powers. So here I have Mount Pack Pig. Unfortunately, there's no animation for the mount. So right now, all you do is hit, for example, in my case, I keybinded Shift 4. I'm going to go ahead and pop on my Mount Pack Pig. But you'll notice I'm not on anything. But I do have the buff Mount Pack Pig, which lets me run faster. And it's really useful to get around. There's a lot of ground to cover in this game, as if you couldn't tell. So get your Mount Pack Pig created straight away. I think that's one of the first things you're going to want to do. I would also continue to look around the outside of this zone for the non-basic materials that I talked about, because you have inside the temple these basic crafting, general crafting stations you're gonna want to use. You'll have to get off your mount, by the way, which is kind of confusing since you don't have a mount per se, but make sure you get off that. And what you're gonna want to make here before venturing out into the worlds is the intermediate items. And the intermediate items will weapons, for example, will be under intermediate, weapons under blacksmithing. I want to make an intermediate throwing hammer. Sorry, I'm on my cleric now. It's going to require your basic one plus a metal billet plus 10 ethereal dust. I don't know if it's billet, if it's like French. And then you can assemble your intermediate items. So you might wonder, where is this? You can either type it up here, because there's now a search function, so I can type in metal base, and then here it is. And that requires, as you can see, 9 non-basic ores, 3, 3, 3, 3. And go ahead and make that, and go ahead and work on your intermediate armor and your intermediate weapons. So under basic weapons, I make my intermediate weapons. The next thing I'm going to want to do is probably make intermediate harvesting tools if you're looking to harvest. If you're looking to just fight, make sure you get your intermediate weapon stuff made up right away. If you're wearing leather armor, it would be your leatherworking, your intermediate armors. If you're a heavy armor class, it would still be under actually it's still under leatherworking. I think that's all you can make with intermediate. Go ahead and make your set of gear, your intermediate set of gear, before you head out into the world. Take some time to look over your talents, what you're going to want to do. Once you get into this area, you're going to want to unlock your minor, major discipline slots, and anytime you get discipline slots, they show up here in your character screen under disciplines, and you can see they're all locked right now because I haven't unlocked them yet. So you'll need a few levels. Once you get those created, you're going to want to make them, and to make them, it's very simple because it's testing. They want you to have all the disciplines. It's going to be much harder during the game, a real game. Here, you can go to pre-alpha test disciplines, go to the major discipline, and you'll notice it only costs you 1 cheap ore, slag, and 1 dust to make a discipline, and they'll be sorted by major, weapon, and minor. So as you can see, you can equip 2 majors if you have them unlocked, 1 mastery, and 3 minors. You do have to have those unlocked from your talent tree to equip them. I've mentioned the site several times, Malekai .org. I'll put the link in the description below where you can, it's kind of like a database for all of the disciplines. There's a lot changing, but the information there is pretty much still intact, and it's a good way to look up your race racials as well. Go ahead and check that out. I'll leave the link in the description below. All right, so we are now pretty much level 5 or 6, I would say. You're ready to start moving out into the real world. That's when things get a little crazy, a little dicey. You're going to want to make some friends. You're going to maybe want to join a guild. I would suggest heading over to the Crowfall community Discord. I'll put a link for that in the description as well. Alright guys, so I just want to wrap up this video and just kind of confirm we're not going to talk about PvP, how to take keeps and all that in this video. This is just kind of your first few hours, how to get ready to move into the campaign worlds. I'm going to make a separate video with some gameplay footage of that. There are a few videos out there with some of the community members such as Zyback, and I think there's an LOD guild member of mine who also has a video out for just how sieging works. I can put those in the description and videos below. So I would check those out if you want to see some footage, but I'm definitely going to make an in-depth video on how the sieging works, what you have to do. But yeah, if you're interested in seeing that, check that out. I honestly just haven't had time to get out there and get new footage for it, so I want to make sure I'm getting proper updated footage. But just to go over it quickly, you'll see at the top you'll have your scoreboard, which is your scores. Who's winning the campaign right now by score, so Order has a pretty big lead. And how we can generate points is by checking out the campaign map here. You'll notice that we're here at the Chaos Faction Beachhead, and we have 3 rune gates left to right, and these will be where those lead you to. And like I said, siege zones will have areas where you can take something big, and then the other adventure zone will still have little capture points, but it's more for adventuring, for killing NPCs and leveling and harvesting more. So yeah, use that knowledge. Still, like I said, you can see who's owning it with the color of the wheel. Green being balance, blue chaos, orange order, and if someone does control a majority of things, you'll see the symbols there. So go ahead, get out there in the world, start messing around, find yourself a guild. Stay tuned for a new video on how to do the sieging. I just wanted this to be like your first six levels, your first few hours. And yeah, I'm going to be doing a giveaway for Crowfall, so if your friends are interested, have them check out the channel. I'll definitely be doing a giveaway on my Twitch stream soon. It was my anniversary, so I didn't get to stream yesterday, which I wanted to, but I will definitely be streaming tonight. So come by, stop by the channel, drop a like if you like this video, subscribe if you want to see more Crowfall content, and until next time, take care, friends.